Welcome to our weekly podcast, Milliseconds Apart. This is a podcast where three friends who met online talk about random stuff. There is no judgment and friendly discussions here. I'm Rudy. I'm currently a medical student in Italy and also a YouTuber.
I'm Izzy, a final year medical student at Cambridge.
And I'm Matt, a panda in a human's body.
Love it.
Okay. I feel like I have very mixed opinions about being for everyone and about YouTube and being a YouTuber. Since now I'm a YouTuber, I feel like my opinions kind of shifted. But before talking about my opinions, I would like to ask you, Izzy, what do you think about YouTube and being for everyone?
Let's define the question a little bit here. In terms of YouTube being for everyone, is this in terms of like everyone can succeed on YouTube or everyone can create on YouTube? Because obviously everyone can find a form of self-expression on YouTube. Yeah. And in some ways that goal can be worthy in its own right. Just going through the process of documenting your life, documenting the things you're doing, that creative process. But I think the question of can everyone succeed on YouTube and grow an audience and a following and make money, that's a much trickier question to answer. And I guess that's probably what we're getting at today in this episode.
Yeah, we need to also define the success on YouTube because I feel like everybody has a different goals when it comes to YouTube, even though most of the people have the common goal. Let us define the success when it comes to YouTube.
So yeah, to you, Ruri. So you're big on YouTube. You are like a proper YouTuber. To you, like, how has like your like view of like when you've succeeded, what does that mean to you? Like, at what point were you like, oh, I've succeeded on YouTube?
I don't know. I don't think that I succeeded yet. I feel like I'm on my way because when it comes to me, I treat YouTube as a business, and I like talked about this on my channel a couple of times. Yes, YouTube is sort of a hobby of mine, but I don't do my hobbies when I don't feel like it. But I do YouTube every single day. I like write scripts and edit scripts even though I don't feel like it. So YouTube is some sort of a business and the source of like the money source when it comes to my life. And I feel like success means when I have the 100% financial independency. Now I have like 90% of financial independency, I would say, but it's because I'm currently in Turkey and the currency here is Turkish lira, so I can easily live from the YouTube money. But if I would move to another country, and since I'm currently on my way to moving to Italy, I'm not really sure if this money is enough for me to support my education, rent and food and all of the stuff without relying on my parents. For me, it's just like a financial independency because I treat it like a business. But for you, Matt, I mean, you have been like posting a lot of videos and you seem to have fun, much fun than me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, this question of success, it's been one where, for me, it's fluctuated, right, all throughout. And so just the background is like, my channel is still small, right? Still a couple hundred subscribers, not really anywhere close to monetization, which is like totally fine because I thought that I wanted to look at it as a business, but I'm not quite sure. Where, this overall question of like, is YouTube for everybody? It's exactly right where, yes, it is like, there's some benefit that I think every single person could get from it. But the idea of success, which is typically you have, maybe you have at least 100,000 subscribers or you have 1 million subscribers, or like, maybe it's not even that big. Maybe it truly is just to your point where like you are making money from it. Those metrics, I think that maybe I've in the past tended to go that direction because those are easier to measure, right? It's easy to just objectively see like, am I successful? But to what you just said there, Ruri, like for me, a lot of it is, hey, like, am I actually enjoying this process and am I making things that I'm proud of and am I growing? Because at the end of the day, I look at it where, okay, so we can have videos that we think are good, like we subjectively think are good. Then there's videos that succeed. And then, like, those don't always overlap, right? And succeed regarding the algorithm, meaning we get a lot of views. Sometimes we have videos that we don't think are very good that blow up. Sometimes we have videos that, right, we'll think, okay, and I've never had video blow up. But, like, there's this idea of, like, I've heard, right, from you, Ruri, and from other people where sometimes there's videos that you think are really good and they completely flop. And then sometimes, right, it's like good, bad. And for me, like, I have a lot of trouble thinking in my head of like, okay, that is going to, the way I'm going to measure success is just going to be based on the number of user subscribers, because realistically, so much of that is outside of my control, and I don't like ceding that control there. Like, all that's within my control is the content that I make or the videos that I make, and if they're getting better and better over time. So I think that to me is the success of, can I stay consistent? Can I consistently put out one, getting up to 2 videos, make them better and better each time? And then, you know, kind of the result, the way that we usually measure success, I imagine that they'll take care of themselves to a certain degree.
Yeah, I love that. What do you think about that, Izzy? I think, Izzy, you're kind of like in between us. Like, Matt is like completely having fun and like energy and stuff, and I'm like business, and like you're having fun, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like you're kind of in between. That's just kind of like my assumption. It might be wrong.
Yeah, no, I think that's accurate to say, because I feel like I do have fun with YouTube, but also because I'm sort of full-time in medical school as well, and I just had like my finals and things like that. It feels like my life is super busy as well, and I actually have to like really scrape out time to do YouTube stuff, or like really try to figure out how to juggle it all. So it's not like a pure hobby, in that often I feel tired, or I'm like, oh, I'd rather just chill out with my friends, and I'm like, no, okay, I'm gonna do the YouTube thing because I've committed to it. And it's like this sense of like, I guess there's the fun aspect, but there's also the aspect where I've told myself that I will aim to be fairly consistent, which I've mostly failed at so far. But I've been aiming for like 1 video a week. It's been more like 1 video every 2 weeks. But in terms of like this whole, there's almost like this slight tension between aiming for success and aiming for fun, because it's almost like this balance between wanting to improve or optimize your YouTube game versus wanting to accept and just love your creativity on YouTube. And there's that tension there, because obviously as soon as you create something, you hope that people will like it. You look at the analytics. The analytics sort of affects how you feel about what you've created, whether you want to let it or not. It will like change how you feel about it. I remember actually quite a while ago, you were telling Matt and me about your first viral video. Was it the one where you were talking about being mixed?
Yeah,
between like,
that one.
Yeah, mixed race, and how you didn't expect it to go viral at all. You just like put the camera down and you just shot the video, and that actually blew up. And I think it's so true. You can't really predict what's going to do well on YouTube necessarily. You can kind of have an idea, but I think just towing that line between improvement and just enjoying the creative process is quite important, because you can't always predict it, even if you try to optimize in every single way.
Yeah, I really agree on that. Like on that like mixed video, half Japanese, half Turkish video. I know that this video gonna like get attraction and like blew up, but in my mind, blowing up, it was like getting maybe 1,000 views. Like not 1 million views or something. I was like, that would be so cool if I get like 1,000 views on this. And then now that video has like 1.1 million views or something, which is absolutely incredible. And at that time, the only thing that I was thinking was that I promised myself to post once a week. So I just like set my camera and filmed that video, and that video blew up. And I was expecting that, but I wasn't expecting it in this way. So I feel like I always had problems with having fun versus treating it as a business. If you guys remember on our like first calls of like this, you know, accountability buddy calls, I used to tell you guys that, oh, this video is not performing well, oh, my channel is gonna die, oh, the analytics is like this and this and this. But I feel like after talking to you guys and hearing your opinions, I really changed my mind on that. I feel like you guys taught me to have fun with the process. The different insights really helped me from burnout to enjoying the process. And now I feel like, yes, I treat it as a business, but it's also like a hobby for me. And now my question would be to you guys is that, what is the ideal personality when it comes to a YouTuber? So what do you think about that? Do you guys have a good YouTuber personality, or do you guys think that I have a good YouTuber personality, or what should people have? What do you guys think about that?
I think you have a really good personality for YouTube.
Really?
I think actually we had a conversation about this like a little while ago, and you were saying you didn't think that you had a good YouTube personality, but I actually think you do. I think you have a very you have a very intriguing personality, and you have lots of interesting opinions on things. And I think that people love watching that because it's something different. You know what I mean? It's not just like run of the mill like another. You have a uniqueness to your personality, which I think draws people in. For me personally, I don't think that I have a very good YouTube personality. I feel like I'm quite standard. I'm not particularly interesting in any way, but I don't think there's such thing as like a one type of YouTube personality.
Yeah.
So it's hard to define like what is that good personality. But I think just something that is a bit different, but engages people in some way, whether that's through being unique or being funny or being relatable, something like that. Is really important. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, see, and maybe we're all just going to be hard on ourselves. One, there's just the sheer number of people that are watching YouTube videos. There are so many personalities that can come out. And it's a word that, this is going to sound super vague, but to me it's just like, it's the authenticity of it. Like, can people sense that you're really being you in whatever that is on the screen? And then also, are you in some way thinking about the audience? I think that, to me, like, those are really the two main factors. Where, like, nobody wants to just listen to somebody say, I did this, I did that. Like, nobody wants to be preached to, where it's like, you. Like, I think it's whenever we bring in our personal experiences, or, like, our personal failings or our personal insecurities, like, those are the things that actually help people connect. And I think we all have that accessible to us. But it's just about, are we able to confidently put it out there? Like, not confidently in the presentation, but being able to just say, like, hey, this is like where I am at this moment. I think that there's so many different things that could work. It's just about what is the reason behind it, right? Is it just to promote ourselves? And sure, we can put on this certain persona, but eventually, like, people catch on to that. And I think that even if we look at, we've talked about this, the different types of YouTubers, right? You can have information ones, you can have entertainment, you can have personality. And the ones that are, say, like, start as info, they gradually move towards being personalities because their audience, they just start to like them or want to know about them as a person. Because I think that for all of us, we're intrigued by other people. We're intrigued to know, like, hey, who are you really? And maybe that is what you were getting at, Izzy, with Ruri. Like, there is a little bit of a mystery behind that of, like, all right, who is this girl actually, right? Like, even the way that you post those. Izzy, I think that with you is, like, you definitely have that personality where it's like, even understanding, hey, like, what is the background? What is her background? Where is she from? Like, what is she really doing? And it's just for all of us, right? It's about that consistency of just putting more and more out there because people get little snippets, right? They're like little breadcrumbs. And I think that there is a certain quality that is required, but it's not necessarily quality of the actual videography itself. Like, that helps, but sometimes it also hurts, right? Because it's not as raw, it's not as real. There just has to be that quality of, like, who is this content for? Who is this video for? What am I trying to get across? If it's trying to be too much of, like, yes, I'm up on the pedestal, I'm a guru, like, that only works for some people.
I feel like you guys, actually, both of you guys have a great YouTuber personality. When I was, like, picking you guys from this, like, accountability buddy list, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it means that you haven't watched the first episode of our podcast, which you should. And I'm not gonna explain about that because today I'm the host and I'm not nice as Izzy or Matt. Anyways. So, I think another metric why I picked you guys out of, like, that 20 people is that I watch your guys' videos. I think Izzy had only a video and Matt had, like, a bunch of videos. I saw the possibility of you guys becoming a great and big YouTubers, and I felt like, oh, these people are really cool and I want to, like, have a connection with them and, try this, like, accountability buddy thing. And my mom actually asked me, like, why are you doing this? I told my mom they have a potential. I think they can really become a big YouTubers because I really enjoy their videos and I love their insights and I love how they film their videos, and I actually get inspiration from you guys too. I mean, it sounds like really narcissistic, but I truly believe that you guys have very great potential on YouTube, and it's just like matter of time.
So sweet.
And consistency, in my opinion, it feels like really narcissistic to say like you have a potential or something, like I'm pro or something. But I truly believe that as a friend, not like a YouTuber perspective or something. But I truly believe that. So since we're gonna continue this like podcast episodes, you guys can get to know Matt and Izzy and their fun personalities, and I feel like you guys can get connected more, and you guys gonna agree. I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah.
Oh, Ruri, that's so sweet.
Ruri, that was
the
so
sweetest
sweet.
thing I've heard all day.
Yeah, no, and seriously, Ruri, like, appreciate that. And I think that one of the big things I'll say is like, I think there's a lot of people who have like potential, and it's kind of this thing of like ideas, like, but you hit on it particularly. It's just the consistency, right? It's the sheer putting the things out there, because you never know what's going to hit. Where it's like we could have all the potential in the world, but if we never show up, it's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
So, really appreciate that, right? And also really appreciate, like, you've helped Izzy and me, like, really with growing and with, just keeping up even with your example there. But, we really, really appreciate that as well, like that generosity. And I know it comes from a place of friendship, but I mean, honestly, there's so many people out there who do have it. And it's just, maybe they needed just one more video. They needed maybe 2 more videos, and something would have happened. I think that's also the importance of this community bit. Like, it's so hard to create on your own. I probably would have quit by now if like we didn't have our friendship, if I didn't see that example, because you don't see results really quickly, right? You were doing this for years before it started to grow, and Izzy and I just started. Like, we don't see those results. But if you see somebody who believes in you, you're like, all right, I'll just keep doing it. I'll keep throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and eventually something happens.
Yeah. I do really believe that actually this is like my 4th channel and my 5th year on YouTube. I think I haven't been consistent because I didn't have somebody else that supported me towards YouTube. Everybody were just like making fun of me and saying that this is ridiculous and I can never become a YouTuber or something. I was really believing myself, and I was super confident about that and telling everyone that I'm gonna become a big YouTuber. But even I can't like kept that like consistency, because there were nobody that was supporting me and understanding me. So I feel like the environment is really important. And also in one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits, which is from James Clear, he says that motivation is overrated, environment matters more. And I completely agree on that. I feel like, having a support system, even though I have a couple of subscribers and stuff, because I have you guys, it really changed my perspective and how I view YouTube. So it's, I think, really great to have friends or maybe family members or maybe like internet friends to, do something consistently. Not only YouTube though, like it can be about anything, but I am in love with the idea of accountability buddy. Thanks for Ali to, set that in PTYA, because I would have never ever do that.
Yeah, it's such a good point. And I really like that you brought up Atomic Habits as well, because I think one of the things that James Clear brings up in the book as well is that surround yourself with people whose normal behavior is the behavior that you aspire to. And just like if the people around you are all trying to be consistent on YouTube, working towards that, then you'll automatically feel like, oh, that's the norm. Like, I can do this too. And honestly, Ruri, like, it's really inspiring seeing your consistency on YouTube. Like, oh my God, you're posting like 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm like, whoa, it's amazing. Like, pumping out the content. And it sort of has honestly, like, talking to you guys every week has actually like kept me in this whole YouTube game for sure, 100%. So yeah, I guess that's another factor on, is YouTube for everyone? Like, if you can find some kind of support system, then that makes it a lot easier to be able to bring the consistency that you need to be able to succeed in the first place, because otherwise it's going to be such a struggle on your own.
I can't remember any of our talks recently where we actually talked about YouTube. Like, we just don't. Like, we don't. Our first few talks, we would talk about, oh, what are you going to do for this video? What's that thumbnail? Like, we would brainstorm. But probably a month in, we stopped talking about that. And that's that part about community. It's about the example that people show, as opposed to going to them and saying, like, oh, like, can you make sure that I post this? Like, we never talk about that. And I think that that's also right why we become such good friends, is because, all right, so we moved past the initial reason we connected. And then now it's exactly like Izzy. Whenever I see you post one, Rue, whenever I see you post a video, if I haven't done my job, like that day of doing my stuff, I'm like, oh, well, my friends just did theirs. Like, it's on me. And it's so cool too, like where it's not a competition. I think that that's really important to say. Like, we don't see ourselves as a competition anyway. And it's truly just like seeing what everyone else is doing. We know the fulfillment that comes from creating something. And again, this is with YouTube, but it can be with anything. We know the fulfillment that comes whenever you go to the gym after you say you want to go to the gym. You eat healthy, you read a book, you do anything like that. And when you see your friends doing that as well, that's the most powerful thing to me. That has been the thing that has just been a complete game changer. Again, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our friendship here.
Yeah, exactly. I think even though we don't talk about YouTube anymore, even getting like these, daily or weekly messages from Matt, if we are like thriving or doing good, it reminds me to do like YouTube stuff. And I remind myself, oh, I actually need to like write the script for this video and stuff. Even though it's not like directly mentioned YouTube, it just like reminds me. So I think it's really important in that way. So I think I would like to ask you guys something. So in Ali's videos and also in like PTYA, he has been like telling that if you put every single week a video for 3 years, everybody can change their lives. What do you guys think about this? I have very mixed opinions about that, and I'm sure that we have very mixed opinions on that because we discussed before. Yeah, what do you guys think about
actually, we
that?
talked about this exact thing. I think on that third call or something, we had this chat. And I think the conclusion was something along the lines of like, well, if you make videos every week for 2 years, once a week, your life is going to change because now you're spending hours making YouTube videos. It's changed.
Well, yeah, and I think with that, right, like the interpretation naturally is like, oh, I'm gonna grow, right? I'm gonna have this huge channel, and it's, I don't know. So the Ali that Ruri is mentioning, right? Ali Abdal, whose part-time YouTuber academy it is, right, that we all met in, just for the context there. But with that piece of advice, like, I actually never interpreted it as, oh, like, you're going to grow your channel. Like, I always interpret it as, like, you're going to grow, you just don't know how. And I think that that's how I look at so many things where, we've talked a little bit in the past about input versus output goals. Where, we can have these output goals, but focusing so much on those, output being like, I'm going to reach this many subscribers. I mean, it doesn't necessarily help us all that much. It only points us in the direction. Instead, it's that input bit. And I think that the biggest lesson from that is like, you never know where things are going to go. When we signed up for PTYA, who did we think that we were going to end up recording a podcast episode in December? Like, no, like that just wasn't a thing, right? So like that in that way, you just kind of look at it like, all right, your life's going to change. Maybe it's going to be self-growth. It's going to be opportunities. Yeah. Maybe it is the straight line growth there, but it's on us to, and I think that he keeps it wisely, purposely vague because he doesn't know. None of us know how life is going to change.
Yeah.
So I think it is very true that actually, like, speaking for myself, my life changed almost like, I don't know, within weeks of me starting this whole YouTube thing. Like, my life had changed, I think, for the better. Like, even if the kind of traditional metrics of success that we talked about in terms of like financial independence or like any kind of like numbers on YouTube, these like output goals, even that aside, just going through the process of learning how to talk to a camera, how to edit a video, chatting to you guys, chatting to the community, and like learning about this whole YouTube game has changed my life. And I have zero regrets. Even if my channel just disappeared like today and all of the stuff I'd done on it disappeared, I would still have the connection to you guys. I would still have all of the skills and things that I learned and all of that growth that I went through to actually put myself through, putting myself out there. And that's not something you can take away. So I feel like it's definitely true. Yeah, my life has changed. Maybe not in the way that people might have interpreted from that phrase, but it's true. Things have changed.
Yeah, I think I really agree on that. So the channel that I'm currently using is my fourth channel or something. And if we apply his theory, it actually proves, because I've been, I think, consistently posting for 11 months or something, and I'm currently at like 289k or something. But the real change, the real thing that changed in my life is not the subscriber amounts or the money that I make, but it's actually how I view the world. I feel like I used to view the world in consumer view, and now I'm just like looking to everything in creator aspect. whenever I'm consuming something, I'm thinking that, oh, can I create something out of this? Or when I'm talking to my friends, I just like get an inspiration and I write it down and I create a video out of it. So definitely it's gonna change your life in some sort of way, but it's not necessarily gonna be in subscriber or money way. But I think most of people should have YouTube channel. But I don't think that everybody should have a YouTube channel. Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I'd actually be interested to hear what you think about that. It sounds like you have a formed opinion.
Yeah,
so,
I have.
So I'm going to bounce it back to the host.
Okay. So since I'm the host and I'm nice, I'm going to answer that question.
Oh, thank you.
So I feel like when it comes to YouTube, firstly, not everyone enjoys creating videos because, creating videos can take ages. And especially if you want to make it good, it's going to take ages and ages. But if you want to like post random stuff, maybe only for yourself, even maybe not for like public, I think everybody can create videos. But there's so many people who have very limited time in their life, especially, I don't know, maybe who is someone moving to another country or like someone who is in medical like finals, or maybe someone who is traveling abroad pretty often, or maybe like moms and stuff. In that like really limited time, I don't think that it's worth to create videos for the sake of creating videos. I feel like there are so many other ways to do your outputs, maybe like an Instagram post, like taking a picture and writing something. It can be also the way of you putting yourself out there. So because YouTube videos takes a lot of time, I don't think that it's for everybody. If you don't enjoy the process and if you don't have some sort of a goal or intention, I don't think that it's worth it. But if you have the intention, and if you have the goal, and if you enjoy it, I think it's totally worth it. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I'll agree with that point there. I think that everybody would benefit from creating something, whether it's you start writing, right? You start painting, you start making videos, you do photography, you do pottery, or even in maybe creating in the terms of you learn to dance or you learn other hobbies. There's this creation, right? We learn so much about ourselves, where as we were getting to with even YouTube here, the biggest lessons or the biggest benefits aren't anything to do with YouTube. It's everything to do with how it's affected our life outside.
Yeah.
But to that point, it's we all start out at different levels. And I think that that's based on a certain skill set, right? Somebody who's, say, a professional videographer who's coming on YouTube is going to have, right, that unfair advantage over somebody who's never held a camera before. Yeah. And so I don't think that we should necessarily use that as the metric of where we should start, what we should or should not do. But it's just also having that realistic viewpoint of, okay, somebody could, it could take them a year and then they could grow a channel like crazy. But if it wasn't the year, it was all the decades before then, or all the years before then, building up those skills. And it's it's totally fine if you want to start from scratch, just realizing that there is that steep learning curve. Going back to this question, I remember the three of us had this discussion where we were talking about always going back to your why. I think it was to do with language learning. Where in those hardest times, Izzy, I think it may have been your video where you were talking about learning Mandarin, where it's in the hardest times, right? You go back to the why am I doing this? And I think with whatever method we use to create, it's just giving yourself that why at the start, and then also setting the time period of whether it's 6 months, it's a year, it's 2 years, where you say, I'm just going to commit. I don't know what the results are going to be, but I'm just going to say week over week, I'm just going to keep making those changes, those improvements, because you never know when it's going to hit. And as you talked about, we see the life so differently, right? Whenever it's from a creator mindset. And I do agree, right? None of us have families, we're all still super young. We don't have what I would consider real responsibilities. But at the same time, even people that do, there's still a lot of hours in the day. And maybe I'm going to sound super ignorant because there are a lot of people, right, who are working just to make ends meet. But there are also a lot of people who think that they're super busy with things. And it's well, if we really monitor our consumption, if we limit that a little bit, we have time to create something, right? And just get started with it. So that was a little rambling mess.
Yeah, I think if somebody else is currently watching this podcast, I think that person definitely has time to create. So yeah. Yeah, for our audience, I think we can say that. I was talking for general population, but if you're watching this podcast, that means that you have time to create. So.
But we're still happy to have you.
Yeah. Don't leave. Yeah. What about you, Z? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree that there is like a value in the creative process. I think there are actually like even other like avenues of the creative process or expressing that can be just as valuable. So even if you just enjoy playing music at home, like just maybe like recording that a little bit, or just, I don't know, doing some art and just posting a pic on Instagram. It doesn't even need to go anywhere really, but yeah,
Link to Izzy's music video is going to be somewhere up top here.
Yeah, that's pretty lit.
My mixtape.
Okay, so thank you for listening to today's podcast. I would like to know if you guys are creating something or changed your mind on creating something. And if you're going to create something, let us know in the comments down below. What type of creation are you going to do? And what type of struggle are you facing currently? Yeah, that was it for today. Let us see you in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Okay, I'm going to stop the thing.
Cut.
Okay.